Can we get an ambient noise also?
Yeah, because I'm getting interference.
Turn on the system.
Joe, give me that mic. Joe,
It's not picking up anything.
All right, how about now?
No, it's not. TV mics are good?
Yeah.
We don't need speakers. We got mics.
Okay, okay.
Well, project, chief.
Sorry.
But still, I'd like to.
Little technical thing.
So I need some ambient audio. So he's pretty close. Put this a little closer, chief.
Okay.
Is this portable on? Yeah. Okay.
DE, capital C, OURSEY. Okay, these gentlemen from our FOP, they're actually here to represent the honorable men and women that serve our police department, as well as being a part of their collective bargaining unit. So that's their role here, and they came to support their employees. We all know why we're here today. There was some disparaging remarks made during a press conference last Wednesday by Sheriff Gregory Tony, and we want to address that now. We are both discouraged and astonished by the disparaging and false statements made by Broward County Sheriff Gregory Tony in his news conference on Wednesday regarding Deerfield Beach. His remarks not only mischaracterized our department, but also cast an unwarranted shadow over the dedicated officers who work tirelessly to serve and protect the people, the businesses, and the neighborhoods of Pembroke Park. We feel it's important to address several points directly: public safety and quality of service. Policing is not a game to us the way the sheriff claimed. I have been in law enforcement for more than 40 years, and I could not be prouder of the men and women that wear the Pembroke Park Police uniform. Every day they put their lives on the line to safeguard our residents and community. In the last 16 months, under my leadership, the department has grown to 19 sworn officers. We're nearly at full strength. We're just down with one vacancy right now, and we already have plans in place to add 2 additional officers in the next budget cycle. We also have 2 dedicated detectives whose sole focus is solving crimes that affect our residents. It is true that several of our officers are former members of the Broward Sheriff's Office. However, the fact they left voluntarily and in good standing through resignation and retirement and were not fired. A portion of Broward County residents' tax dollars are allocated to the Sheriff's Office for specialized services such as bomb threats, homicides, and other highly complex cases. This includes support for Pembroke Park. Any lack of capability on our part, it's part of their mission and responsibility of the Broward County Sheriff's Office itself. It's part of what they are elected to do. 3 years ago, Pembroke Park made a deliberate decision to bring policing services in-house. The goal was simple: provide more direct, responsive, and comprehensive service to our community, and do so in a more cost-effective way. Since then, we've strengthened our ranks, expanded our capabilities, to receive accreditation next year. The Pembroke Park Police Department remains committed to excellence, integrity, and safety of every person who calls this community home. Our officers will continue to show up and stand up for what's right, because our loyalty is to the truth, to the badge we wear, and to the people we serve. We also enjoy an excellent relationship with our other law enforcement partners, surrounding agencies. That's the Broward Sheriff's Office here as well, the West Park District, Hallandale Police Department, Hollywood Police Department, as well as Miramar. We all work together and back each other up on calls because officer safety is of the utmost importance, and we believe that. So with that being said, what I said here today has nothing to do with the rank and file that's out on the street. These are officers that are out there, just like our officers, that are working out there every day, putting their lives on the line, and we respect them and thank them for that, just like our own officers. So that being said, does anybody have any questions?
Chief, what specifically, can you give us a list, are the false statements?
The false statements had to do with people that were fired for misconduct from the Broward County Sheriff's Office. Another false statement is that he's handling the majority of our calls. Another statement was that we are understaffed. Currently, we're not understaffed. So those are the things that we wanted to address today, and that the people were begging for the Sheriff's Office to come back and take over.
Do you have any numbers to back the sheriff claims that he's responding to the majority of calls? Do you have any numbers of how many calls that your PSO have responded to?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't have his numbers, but I do have our numbers that we're able to pull from the Broward County CAD. Let me just, could hold that there for me for a minute. So what we did is we took a snapshot real quick from May 1st to August 25th, mutual aid statistics, because a lot of our stuff is mutual aid. So when we talk about that, we're talking about backing officers up. It could be anything from helping an officer, just routine traffic stop, an officer swings by and backs up another officer to provide extra security. It could be, I need a female officer to transport or pat down a female prisoner that they might have or we might have, and we share those resources back and forth with BSO, Hallandale, and so on. So the statistics basically show that BSO assisted our agency in that time period. We had over 5,302 calls for service, and they assisted us 18 times out of the calls we had for service. That's 0.34% of total of our calls for service. We assisted them 7 times, reference calls for service for them. We don't know exactly how many calls for service they have overall because we didn't have access to that data. So we do work together. As far as being a primary, taking calls, and our guys are not going to the calls, no, and I could give you some examples of mutual aid stuff that we helped them with, that we were basically first or second responders on critical incidents involving their agency over in West Park, and one is most recently is August 10th of this year, where they had an incident where a gentleman was bringing a rifle over to a club over here off of Hallandale Beach Boulevard, and our officer was able to make contact with him and detain the person and hold the rifle until the West Park units could get there. Another incident was in June of 2025, where they had a deputy-involved shooting down here. Our officers were right there. They're number 2 on the scene. They went and helped the officer, the deputy, that was just involved in this critical shooting. Were able to secure the scene, separate witnesses. My lieutenant was running a crime scene log for them until they could get the necessary resources to handle that call. So these are just examples that we every day here in law enforcement, because that's what we're all about. We're about protecting each other.
Chief, I was here at the birth of this police department, and there were problems, a lot of problems at the beginning, including a Sun Sentinel article that says many of Pembroke Park's newest cops were fired or pushed out of their old jobs. Do you think the sheriff is not up to date on what's going on now versus what's going on then, and that he's using what was going on then as an example? Because your stories are so different.
Yeah, all I can tell you is I arrived here in April of 2024. We came into an agency, and my directive was to fix the agency and turn it around. And with the assistance of my administrative team here, the town manager, and everybody involved in this agency, we've done that. Did they hire some bad apples in the back previously, rather? Probably. I can tell you now that we went through every employee here, and we've moved the organization forward. Everybody here is a productive member of our organization, and they hit the ground running. And a lot of these people help us build it. When I talk about, an Old Navy term is a plank owner for a boat or something like that, our officers here, most of them are plank owners. These are people that work those extra hours and put in the blood, sweat, and tears to turn this thing around and make it right and professionalize the organization. And that's what we're doing.
Would you characterize it as a safer community when BSO is running till now?
I couldn't make that determination without looking at it. I'm an old BSO guy. I worked down here in 1980, the surrounding areas, okay? I don't want to date myself too much here, but anyway, so we had 2 officers down here working the unincorporated area, Carver Ranches and Lake Forest, before it was West Park rather. So we stayed busy, I will say that, and as time goes on and crime trends change and everything else, it could get busier, so. I don't know what BSO has had in the past. All I know is right now the services that we're providing, the community reaches out to us all the time. If we see them at different events, they come up and they thank me for everything. I have, believe it or not, people that come over from West Park saying, "Thank you, Chief. We see what you're doing over there. You're doing a lot of great things." So, and again, it's not me. It's my team. I can't do it. I'm just one person.
Let me ask you, as Deerfield considers parting ways with BSO and doing what you guys did a few years ago, building a department from
I don't know exactly where they're at, so that'd be very premature for me to give any advice on that. Again, I, I came in here after this one was already started. I started another state agency prior to coming here that set up regional offices around the state of Florida. So I know what it entails and the roadblocks and things that take time. But, you know, some of our cities here already have a lot of the infrastructure in place that they could utilize.
Do you believe that a town or a city can survive on its own without a sheriff's department?
Well, you still need the sheriff's office for, you know, ancillary services, the helicopters, the crime scenes and things of that nature. Well, obviously, we use their crime lab, we use the jail and so on. You know, depending on the role of the services, how much they want to put into it and where they want to go with that.
What would you say to people at home who are seeing this back and forth, word being exchanged, and thinking, what's this behavior from leaders in our community, and is it leading to us being not as safe because they are concerned?
I'm an old school person. I'm used to law enforcement working together. I still work together with law enforcement all the time, both our state, local, and federal partners. We all do. You know, we're not seeing any increase in crime because Pembroke Park is providing police services here. Our officers are out there day and night. We're doing our building checks, you know, making our footprints with different businesses and so on, you know, encountering people out there. I mean, it's a busy little area here. Again, I'm not familiar with the whole demographics of Deerfield Beach and what they're encountering right now and what some of their challenges might be.
Can we talk about money, because that's a big consideration here because of the big increases the sheriff has asked for these communities. Have you saved money? Like, has it been a much better, can the manager maybe talk about that? Has it been a much better fit in terms of what it costs to run your department as opposed to what BSO is charging and what they would be charging?
Yeah, it has been financially advantageous. It doesn't mean it's cheap, but it has been financially advantageous. The other reason for that is that we have sort of a local control over our own spending. If you're deferring to what's happening with the county, you really don't have the opportunity for some local control of spending. And I want to sort of take a moment to spin off of that from the question that was asked about what you would recommend, because the chief is too humble to admit that. But we had some hiccups. That goes to the question that you had at the very beginning. Then the chief comes in here sometime in 2024. He hires a professional crackerjack command staff and then is bringing in really great, experienced people. And the chief indicated, we haven't hired people that were cast-offs from the sheriff's office, and we've hired just such great people, and our commission has backed them up. One of the first things the chief asked about is, how can we make sure we recruit great recruits? Our commission authorized a $20,000 one-time incentive bonus for brand new signups, and that attracted absolutely A-plus material for our department. So the answer to your question in particular is, find a chief like Dan DeCourcy who can put together a command staff. We had some hiccups at the beginning, but ever since his arrival, listen, folks, when an expansion team starts in the major leagues, you don't expect them to win the World Series in year one. But if you have a good manager and a good pitching staff, you're going to win games. We have a good manager of our police department here and his command staff. And I talked about those bonuses and so forth. The FOP is here today. The Fraternal Order of Police recognizes the quality of service our citizens are getting. So the message to our citizens, it's outstanding service. They're recognizing themselves. The commission is recognizing it. And we don't deny that the sheriff's office gives great service. They give outstanding service. So we all want to work together. We don't want to take shots at each other.
Mr. Lynch, you mentioned the $20,000 bonus for brand new signups. I'm a little confused as to what brand new signups mean. Does that mean you're not giving this bonus to people who transfer from other?
No, those people are eligible for the bonuses, and that attracts qualified candidates. So what we've done here is we realize is that in order to build depth, we have to hire people that have different experiences and so on. So we look at their years of service, the experience they bring. They're still going to get the $20,000 signing bonus, but it puts us at a different level where their salaries are. We've worked with these gentlemen for 3 months to put together a collective bargaining agreement regarding that, and our salaries are very, very competitive from the bottom up to experienced officers, and some of the benefits that we have with the Florida State retirement and so on is also an excellent benefit for these people, and it's a draw. And we've been very fortunate, and we can be picky now. We are very picky in what we hire.
Not to go too far backwards, but when you heard or read the sheriff's comments, did it offend you? What was your reaction?
It was very hurtful. I'm an old Broward Sheriff's guy, okay? That's my home agency. Get hurt. And at the same token, I know that all these men and women that I have great people. And it's not fair to paint these people with a brush of something that Jeff referenced regarding way back when Sun Sentinel wrote an article. Those aren't the same people today. We have good people here. We have people that are dedicated. You know, people make mistakes in life, so you have some officers that made some mistakes along the way. But you know what? How long do they have to serve time for the mistakes? I mean, we rehabilitate prisoners after so much time. We take them out of jail and transition them back into the community, right? Not saying that our people have never been convicted of any crimes, but how long do you live with a mistake? Any other questions?
If the gentleman from the union would step up, because there was a lot of union talk yesterday. We're stepping kind of out of Pembroke Park right now, but there was a lot of union talk yesterday about votes of no confidence and things of that nature. What can you tell us about the behind the scenes of this announcement that went out yesterday? We have a vote of no confidence in the Deerfield Beach City Manager.
So as the district director for the Broward Fraternal Police, my job is kind of oversee and help the local lodges. We have FOP Lodge 200, which is the road patrol deputies and sergeants. We also have represent the lieutenants for corrections. I contacted that president of the corrections FOP and asked him about that letter that he signed, and there was no vote of no confidence. So I asked him to ask IUPA to retract that letter. FOP is a member-driven organization, and the members, especially on something that magnitude, decide the vote. And it has to actually be voted on. This is a democracy. It's not a kingship where somebody can just author something like that. I think, honestly, that the sheriff's department and the city of Deerfield Beach need to go back to the table. Negotiate there. Don't negotiate in public and slander people's names and go back and forth, because all it does, a disservice to the community it serves and the morale of that agency that they use. That is the position I have.
A similar question to you then, just as you're watching this unfold, you see what the sheriff put out on Instagram on Monday, you see the back and forth, and you touched on it, but just that behavior from professionals, what's your reaction?
All I can say is the Fraternal Order Police, we have a very good relationship on every city that we negotiate with. We're not here just to come every 3 years and negotiate a deal. We're here for the good times and the bad. Period, end of story. And I think a little humility will go a long way on both parties, a little self-reflection from both parties, and to move forward, not just for a contract, but for the community that they serve.
Your name, just say it.
Andrew LaFramboise, LaFramboise. I'm the district director of the Broward Fraternal Order Police.
Sorry, just one more quick question on that. This idea that there was no vote of no confidence. My understanding, speaking to several people involved with this, is that the boards of these unions did vote. That each local has a board.
Right. So I can't speak on IUPA or the other FOPE, which is the other union that's there, or even the fire union. But the Fraternal Order Police, the way we do vote of no confidence, it's a member-driven vote. All the members vote, and we actually publish the results, whether it's unanimous or maybe one more in favor or against on any position that we take that has that big of a magnitude for elected officials or appointed officials. But again, that's something that we normally save when it's at the very end, where it's a multiple array of things. We don't just use that all willy-nilly because somebody said some bad words. Well, so in Broward County alone, we have 3,000. So we represent not just BSO deputies and sergeants, the corrections lieutenants. We have Hollywood, Sunrise, Pembroke Park, Lauderhill, Hollandale, Pembroke Pines, Fraternal Order of Police has actually taken over a lot of these cities in negotiations because we believe that there is more than just negotiating at a table. It's a relationship that you need to build with management as well as the community.
Have you all had any direct conversations with Sheriff Tony or any of the high-ranking commanders within BSO since these comments were made over the last?
Are you talking about from the union or from the police? I'm sorry, go ahead.
You go ahead.
From the union, no. I haven't yet to speak to the sheriff. I don't know the exact proposals. I was trying to look through them last night with Deerfield just to see what exactly was going on and what, again, everybody's concerned right now. I know just from dealing with other CBA negotiations throughout different cities, you know, the Doge effect of what that means for Broward County and local municipalities. And people are, you know, trying to be conservative with their money, as well as the cost of doing business in law enforcement has gone up and gone over for not just for law enforcement, fire, and just for employee salaries and benefits. That is always something that even when I negotiate for the city of Hollywood. I'm the president over there. We have really good conversations before we go to these back and forth banters, because you have to have some kind of understanding and perspective of both sides before you start slashing these name callings or whatever you're doing, or filing with FDLE or not filing FDLE. It's getting crazy. People need to be adults.
Chief, when's the last time you spoke to the sheriff? And what was kind of the discussion?
Which sheriff?
Sheriff Tony,
I have never spoken with Sheriff Tony.
do you think now might be a good time to make a relationship, since we're talking about having relationships there? I mean, you all work together.
Yeah, we do work together. Our agencies work together, and I've never been extended, you know, an invite to meet with him. So.
The sheriff implied that you're understaffed. Are you comfortable with the amount of officers you have on the street at any given time, and are you able to cover all of your shifts adequately?
Yes, we are. And we've even done that if we didn't have the number of officers with overtime to cover our shifts and make sure we were adequately staffed. At the point right now, we have a luxury. It's something we're enjoying. I mean, I can actually have officers put in training requests to attend career development training and stuff, and I can actually authorize it because I don't have to pay overtime. I have enough people already on the road working. So we're fine. And like I say, on our law enforcement partners, we help each other out. So, I mean, we had a critical incident here. I mean, everybody came. Hallandale came, BSO came. It was a real team effort, and everybody worked together on those things, and that's what it's all about. Anything else? Well, thank you very much for coming today. We appreciate it.